Hey everybody, and welcome back to some more Oxygen Not Included. Last episode we left things off a little bit unfinished, like this liquid vent over here is not quite yet built. We don't have the lavatories for our new restroom over here, and we're also very low on metal, which is why we can't build the lavatories. And so one of the first things that I'm going to do real quick is dig out over here. I'm kind of thinking about where I want to dig out, just because our duplicants do need to be able to kind of climb back out here. And so what I might end up doing, just to make it a little easier for them to kind of navigate this cave over here, is just build a couple of tiles just to give them a little bit of something to walk on if they need it. And whilst we wait for them to get on with that, what I want to work on in today's episode is coal power. That's big on my list of things that I want to get done. We don't have any research selected right now, which I think is fine because all of our duplicants are still busy. If we did select research, it would just mean that Stinky moves over to the research station, and then somebody else has to stop doing what they're doing to go and get on the manual generator to make sure that Stinky can get the research done, which is one of the main reasons, of course, why I want to get coal power up and running in the first place, so that we don't have to have somebody constantly on the manual generator over here. Now, the coal generators, if I'm not mistaken, do produce a fair amount of heat, and I think they also produce carbon dioxide, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it converts coal into electrical power and produces carbon dioxide as a byproduct. And so a couple of things that we do have to bear in mind with the coal generator there. One of the things is, of course, heat. Heat does rise, and so ideally, I would like the coal generator to be somewhere near the top of the base so that we can try and keep the core center of our base as cool and temperate as possible. There are ways around that. We could, for example, build some tile out of abyssalite, which, if I am not mistaken, is very good at retaining heat. Abyssalite is resilient. If we go further down, specific heat capacity is 4,000 DTU/G. Temperature units per grams, I don't know what D stands for. Thermal conductivity is 0, so 0 thermal conductivity, as opposed to right now, I think we're building our tiles out of sandstone. So if we look at sandstone for a frame of reference here, the sandstone has a much lower heat capacity, and that means I think it can retain less heat, but it has a thermal conductivity of 2, meaning that some heat can transfer through the sandstone to the adjacent rooms. And so if we were to build a coal generator and surround it with the normal tile that we have right now, that coal generator would eventually leak heat out and heat up the rest of the base. However, if we build the room out of abyssalite tile, it will contain the heat much better. However, that does come with its own downside in that if the room gets too hot, which it will, it becomes dangerous for duplicants to go in there, and I think eventually the machines will also just stop working if it gets like to 50, 60, 70 degrees Celsius in that room, which is entirely possible if you leave it going too long. And so we're going to have to come up with some kind of creative solution. For now, I'm quite tempted just to whack a coal generator down, maybe in this bottom corner over here. That might heat up the water a little bit, but I think that's fine. And it also, of course, doesn't matter that it emits carbon dioxide, because we've already got carbon dioxide being kind of stored at this lower level of the base, and hopefully being taken care of somewhat by the algae terrariums down here. Also, people in the comment section did inform me that machines do not use power. Also, real quick, let me turn those off. We no longer need you to be making mush bars. You can stop making mush bars. Can I put 0 in there? There we go. And also, yeah, the priority is 1. I'm surprised that he was making mush bars there. There are other things that he could be doing. But people did inform me that machines do not use power whilst they're not active. So even if we left the micro musher on, if nobody was using it, it wouldn't use any power. So that's not something we have to worry about. The same is true for the liquid pump. Even if the pump is technically on, but not pumping water, it won't use any power, which is good news. It means that we don't have to have someone constantly on the manual generator or the coal generator constantly running to keep those guys going, even when they're not really doing anything. So that's good news. Other than coal power, I also want to work on getting, of course, our lavatory finished, and I'm thinking also of setting up a mess hall today, which is another room that allows our duplicants to eat and also get a morale bonus whilst eating as well. So I'm thinking of maybe putting that here. I also noticed that they have now added a great hall as opposed to just a normal mess hall. We might even try to get this because the difference in requirements aren't all that crazy. The mess hall, for example, requires a minimum size of 12 tiles and a maximum size of 64. It has to have some mess tables in it and no industrial machinery. The Great Hall requires the same things, mess table, no industrial machinery, but the minimum size is 32 tiles. It has to be quite big, maximum of 120 tiles. And then it says decor item plus 20. I assume that means that the room as a whole has to have a plus 20 decor rating. For example, if we look at our decor right now, a lot of our rooms are not doing great. A lot of them are at like negative -8, -13. If they happen to have a shine bug in them, maybe it gets a little higher. Like up here, you can see we got +45. I did see +70 for a second there, but essentially, if we want to have a great haul that has a consistently high decor rating, we'll have to put in some flowers, maybe a couple of paintings, a sculpture or two potentially. We probably won't need all that much in there to get to a 20, but we can always try and make it look nicer, just because having the decor better also improves morale and reduces stress and whatnot. So it's a double win there, which is pretty nice. We have dug out all of at least a good chunk of the metal here, and so we now do have what it takes to build our lavatories. And so let me think about this. I do want to move this sink over by one. And I might just move this sink over to here. That is going to leave us with a 1 tile wide gap at the after the front door, but I think that's fine. I don't really want to have to move both sinks because that could get a little bit tricky. You guys should not be eating mush bars right now. I did just see, I think it was Hassan eating a mush bar. Let me go in here real quick. Nobody should be eating mush bars. Can we just uncheck mush bars of everybody? We have enough meal lice. We've got 13,000 calories of meal lice that people can eat. We do have 8,000 calories worth of mush bars that they could also technically eat. But I think we'll tell them not to eat that. And then if things get dire later on down the line, we can always go ahead and recheck those boxes and have them eat the mush bars if the situation calls for it. But in the meantime, let's get our lavatories down. So we're going to have a sink there. And then I think I'll put the lavatories here and here. I will deconstruct you and put another sink, which I think is under medicine. Yeah, I keep thinking the sinks and the wash basins will be under plumbing, but they're not. They're under medicine. But we'll put you right about there. We will, of course, go ahead and delete these pipes. I get rid of this pipe. We have to keep this pipe just so we can get over to here. I guess we could get rid of the pipe and have it go around like this. It's a little bit more convoluted, but I think it will improve the decor and increase morale and all that good stuff. I didn't think about the fact that this was going to spill water out. I guess it does make sense that if a sink is full, has like a tank full of water, that's going to happen. Can we get like a priority 9 mop on areas around here? It's not too big of a deal. Most of the water is going to fall back into this pool here, which I think is fine. None of this is polluted water. I'd also like to mop up down there as well. Get our whole base nice and cleared out where possible. We'll also get rid of that there. And then let's quickly go ahead and connect up these pipes. So we'll do the same again. Input is like so and like so. And then output, we'll just connect up along to there so we can go over and dump the polluted water over in this area. We do need to make this a little bit deeper. Right now, that's definitely not big enough to hold all of the polluted water that's going to end up in there. And apparently people in the comment section told me that you actually get more water out of a lavatory than you put into it. So we're pumping water in from this body of water down here, but when the duplicants use it, the amount of water that comes out is actually higher than the water that goes in for the flush, which I guess makes sense, right? Like the idea being there that the duplicants produce water, and then when they go and use the bathroom, some of that water is added and you end up with more of it. It's an interesting little mechanic that they've got there. And we should maybe look at filtering this water maybe sooner rather than later. And there's a pretty interesting way that you can go about doing this, because by default, this water is full of food poisoning. And what you can do is you can filter the water back into normal water. Like right now, it's polluted water. You can filter it, turn it back into normal water, but just filtering it doesn't get rid of the food poisoning. And so you can't use that water for food or for hand washing or anything like that. But what you can do is you can use that food poisoning infested normal water for the toilets, for example. Like it doesn't matter if the water that the people are using to flush their, waste away is filled with food poisoning, because they're not going to drink out of the toilet, right? So we can filter the water and use it for the toilet. But we could also, later on down the line, set up something that allows us to remove that food poisoning from the water. I think there are a couple of ways you can do that. For example, I know that if you heat the water up enough, it will kill the food poisoning germs. That could be a bit tricky because heating up a lot of water is quite difficult. I do think there are also other ways that you can do it with chlorine, for example. If you have the water flow through chlorine in some form or fashion, you can kill the food poisoning germs that way. There are a couple of different ways you can do it. I'll have to look into it before we get to that point. But for now, all of our duplicates are idle. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit pause real quick. This guy has no liquid output. Did we not set that up properly? We did not. Actually, none of our sinks or lavatories have a liquid output because the pipe was not connected. That is fine. This room is now pretty much done. I'm going to go ahead and build up the rest of the room like so. We'll throw in a pneumatic door right about there, and of course put some tiles in like so. We might need some airflow tiles around here somewhere to make this a little bit better, but for now, this is fine, and we can go ahead and deconstruct all of these over here. I don't think this will release water, but just on the off chance that it does, I'm going to change that door setting to auto so that hopefully it closes up Please don't release water. It didn't, thank goodness. It just released a bottle of water, which is perfectly fine and very much so manageable. That's all good. We do have the option here for a new duplicant, and we also have more duplicants with skills, which is something we'll look at in just a second here. I am quite interested in getting another duplicant. Nisbet, or Nicebet over here, does have +7 excavation, which I really would like. We could do with somebody who specifies, or who is specifically good at digging. I think right now, Frankie is the one who we're kind of pushing somewhat down the digging line, but he's also pretty good at cooking as well, I think is the skill set that he has. Now, the downside is the fact that she's got bottomless stomach, pacifist, and irritable bowel. She's got so many negative traits, and specifically bottomless stomach is one that I don't really think that we want. On top of that, her stress reaction is destructive, which means if she gets too stressed, she's going to start breaking things around the base, which is really not what we like. And so I think instead, I might go for Mimo over here. Her interest is suit wearing, so she gets +1 morale while wearing a suit. But she got +7 athletics, so she moves faster. She's an early bird, she gets up nice and early. Iron gut, she's immune to food poisoning, which is fantastic, and something that might come in useful later on down the line, although hopefully it won't. Hopefully food poisoning doesn't become an issue for us. She does, however, have allergies, and she's allergic to floral scents. I think that's okay. I'm going to take her. This does mean we need an extra bed here, and real quick, I'm going to go ahead and change her schedule to match May's down here. Like so. I'm also thinking about adding a third schedule because I was looking at this between episodes, and you'll see that we do have one tile for bath time. So there's like 1 hour of the day where people are allowed to go to the bathroom, or allowed, it makes them sound like prisoners, but one time of the day where they're scheduled to go to the bathroom at least. I think they will go pretty much any time of the day when they want to. But I'm thinking if we have too many duplicants in trying to go to the bathroom at one time, we might, not have a spare lavatory. And so it might be worthwhile adding a separate schedule here and never having more than 2 people on any one schedule. This also has the added benefit of meaning that our base is kind of active all the time. We never have all of our duplicates doing things at the same time, which could be an issue actually, now that I think about it, because if we do need somebody, doing research, making power, and getting food at the same time, it could be a bad idea to have our duplicates spread out too thinly. And so you know what? No. For now, I'm going to leave it like this. If we were to add another duplicant or 2, I might start to look at a new schedule. But I think for now, having 2 separate schedules might be just fine. Of course, we do have a skill point ready to go here. Let's take a look at who is ready to be leveled up. We've got May and Mimo, our 2 newest duplicants here. I think we'll continue to push May down the arts line here. We'll go with aesthetic design for decorating to get a +2 creativity. And then Mima is pretty good at athletics. She's got no hearts here, so she's not too interested in anything. I might go with like improved carrying, potentially. She can move faster, and so being able to carry more could also be quite good. Medicine could be interesting. Strength could also be good for tidying up. That could be interesting as well. I don't think we need somebody else who's good at research just yet. Farming is always one that's good. Construction is also pretty useful as well. I think I'm going to go for supplying for now. And I don't know if we can specify this in the priorities. Can we make Mima the supplier? We can. I'm going to put her just a little bit above the rest. Essentially what that means is like if, for example, previously we had this setup over here where somebody had to bring water over to the outhouses. Now Mima's going to do that before anybody else does it, which I think is pretty good. It does also mean that right now she'll be the one who like fills up the algae terrariums, like what Stinky's doing now. She's not going to be the only one who does it. We didn't set it to like high priority, but she's going to do it above everybody else. Like right now she's taking water down. She's giving water to the algae terrariums, all that good stuff. You may or may not have just seen people did go to the bathroom and water did pump out over to our polluted water area over here. Getting a little concerned. We should definitely dig this down a bit. I don't really want to have my duplicants in here, but it's kind of necessary, right? And so I'm just going to dig out over here a little bit. Yeah, he does have to dig down into it. He is going to get soggy feet. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we could go ahead and throw down a shower, which might relieve soggy feet. Let me check real quick. There is this database over here, which I haven't been using much in previous episodes, but is a really useful little tool for finding out how certain things work if you're not too sure. So if I type in soggy, is soggy feet not something I can look for? Oh no, it'll probably be a debuff, but it's just not shown in here. Okay, that's fine. But I was wondering if maybe having a shower would get rid of soggy feet. You know, the idea being that they go, they have a shower, they dry off, and then they're good to go again. Not quite sure if that's how that works, but maybe. We did just add a new duplicant, and so we should definitely add a new line of farm tile. Right now we're doing 20 mealwood, but if we have a 5th duplicant, we do need 25, and so really, we need like 2 more lines of mealwood to make this work. So I will dig down a little bit further here, and whilst they're all doing that and getting that stuff done. This little patch here should be fine for now. Yeah, everyone, I'm kind of annoyed that everybody went in there, because it means now that everybody has soggy feet, but maybe that'll give them a morale boost, right? You know, it's better that everybody has soggy feet than just one person having soggy feet. Maybe, I don't know. But let's have a look at getting this mess room going. So, mess table is here. We've got 5 duplicants, so ideally we want 5 of these in here. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like so. We'll, of course, put a door on the front like we've done with every other room, like that. I'm not quite sure if we're going to make it like this whole thing into the mess room. Like we could make something else in this little square at the back here. We've got 4 tiles high, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it only needs to come to here before it becomes like a great hall, so this is fine. Let me see if we do get the room bonus. So right now it's a mess hall. I believe it doesn't become a great hall until we get plus 20 to the decor. In the entire room, maybe? Like maybe it's an average throughout the entire space. So let's also take a look. I'm going to slow things down a little bit here because everyone does seem to be a little bit idle. Actually, let's go ahead and get some more research going here. I would love the research into combustion, so we'll get that going. I do like, though, how all of a sudden, now that people aren't moving water back and forth to the lavatory and whatnot, you see everyone is just kind of stood here right now, not doing anything. So I'll pause the game real quick, and let's have a look at getting some artwork down. So furniture. We've got flower pots, we've got lamps, we've got water coolers. We can put a water cooler in here, maybe. Pedestals, corner moldings. These look pretty cool. What can we build? Oh, man, yeah, look at this. Can I think it's O to rotate, not R. Yeah, O like that. I like that a lot. And then crown molding used to decorate the ceiling and corners of rooms. Can I have this like going, oh yeah, look at this. Can I have this just going all the way along the top like that? This is really going to be like a grand hall here. We could put like a wallflower on, although I think that's a bit too high there. Did we not unlock paintings? I thought we did the research for artwork down here, although maybe not. No, we didn't. We got halfway through. We're not quite there. That's fine. I'm gonna let them do this here and see how that works out. Like if this is enough. I do want to make sure that May has got a priority on decorating, like a high priority on decorating, and I also want to make sure that Hassan has a priority on digging, so that maybe he goes and does digging tasks before anybody else, as well as farming. He can do both of those things. That's all good. But hopefully this makes it into a great hall. I'm not quite sure if this is gonna be enough, but it looks like it might be, potentially. Keep an eye on this here. Right now, we've still got a mess hall. It doesn't give us information on, like, the overall decor of the room just yet, but, like, 39, 50. I think as soon as these get put in, it should get there, because it's big enough, and hopefully the decor is going to be good enough. I did notice in the research tree, actually, there is also this right here. Have we completed this? Wait, no, we didn't. Did we do home luxuries? No. Plastic ladder. Did we do these by accident? We might have done. Comfy bed. Was comfy bed in there? Oh, yeah, it is. So I must have misclicked at some point and researched home luxuries, I guess. But there is this carpeted tile, which I'm assuming we can't make just yet. Presumably, we need to get the textile loom down first to actually make the fabric required for the carpet. But I think it could be pretty neat to have like a carpeted floor, maybe in the bedroom or something like that. That could be interesting. Let's not forget about our farm tiles here. So I want another 4 and 8, like so. And we'll, of course, plant those with mealwood seeds when the time comes. We should also clear out whatever's blocking this. Oh, no, it's filters not designated. I see. Okay, so I really want anything edible in here is the idea. I think right now our meal lice is just sitting on the floor. I would love if you would put that meal lice into this box, guys. That would be fantastic. Would make my life a whole heck of a lot easier. I was originally thinking that we should put another bed down, but it has just occurred to me that we never have more than 3 people sleeping at once. And so really, more than 3 cots is unnecessary. So we'll just leave the 4 that we have for now. New skills available. Stinky is ready to go on into astronomy, +2 to science again. Virtual planetarium usage. Stinky's interested in astronomy, and so he'll receive a morale bonus. Let's go for it. Really, anything that increases his speed when it comes to using these computers and research is fine by me. I'm very happy with that. People are finally using the boxes here, which is good. Hopefully these planters get done fairly soon. I will bump the priority on those up a little bit, because otherwise we are again going to end up in a situation where we don't have enough food, especially considering that nobody is eating the mush bars. No, we've got rotten mush bars over here as well, because no one has gotten rid of them. Can I delete these? He's picked them up. I hope nobody eats those. I don't think they will. No, he's going to put them in the compost. Fantastic. Okay. Mima is sleeping on the floor. I don't think she's narcoleptic, so I'm not quite sure why she's sleeping on the floor. But she is, I guess. Oxygen-wise, the base is looking good, so that is all fine. This is still getting done, which is fantastic. Are we a great hall yet? We're not. Still just a mess hall. I did see a flicker there for a second, and everyone does have their own mess table assigned, which is good. Does it matter up here? Maybe we do need another bed up here, actually, because maybe Mima can't sleep in a bed that's not assigned to her. Sure, I'll dig out another space there for some more stuff. Still no great hall down here. What am I missing? Mess hall, and then great hall. Decor item plus 20 decor. Does it need to have like one item that gives it plus 20 decor? Or does it need to have like multiple items that get it there? It looks like... Oh no, yes, there are still parts that don't have the decor. I think it might just be due to the fact that there's stuff in here. If we get like a priority 9 sweep and just clean up this room, we might actually get to great hall status. I think it might just need to be clean, and that could be the only issue right now. Did we complete the research for the coal generator? I think we did. Also, I should point out, people have been pointing out in the comment section, this is very zoomed in, and they've been telling me, Isaac, you fool, just press the zoom out button in the top right. And I don't know if you can hear the clicking sound here, but it doesn't zoom out any further than this right now. I can zoom in a bit, like so. I can get even closer to these research options. The reason for that is due to the fact that I have my UI scaling here set to 150%. That's because I have a fairly high resolution monitor, and if I turn this back down to the default 100, everything gets quite small all of a sudden, which does fix the research tree. If we look in here now, this is all, you know, much more usable and readable, which is good, but it does mean that everything else gets way too small, and I do this mostly for the YouTube video. A lot of people watch on mobile, a lot of people watch at lower resolutions, and so if they were to try and, you know, read what's going on when it looks like this, it kind of becomes a little too much, you know, everything's really small and hard to see, and so I'm going to leave it at 150% for now. That does mean that our research tree is going to be constantly zoomed in like this, but I think that's fine. It's not really something that's too difficult to work with. Let's go ahead and throw down our first coal generator right about here. Again, very temporary space for the coal generator that will be moved very soon to a more suitable location. But for now, I just want to free up people to actually start doing other things that is not standing on this manual generator and producing power that way. I think we are low on storage. I think we need to put down a few more storage bins if we're actually going to get to sweeping this great hall. Like, there's nowhere for our duplicants to put anything right now, so I will bump that up on the priority list just a little bit so they get done and people can move this stuff out of here, at which point our great hall should be ready to go, I think. Our latrine is also done, which is good. A washroom requires... Is this a washroom? Oh, it is. Nice. So we've moved up from the latrine to the washroom because now we have a flush toilet, we have no outhouses, and we've got a plumbed wash station. Nice. I like it. I like it. This is good stuff. Very good stuff. I did also contemplate pumping this polluted water over to here. The only downside with this is that it's surrounded by slime. We could maybe just squeeze in through here and not touch any slime, but if we look at the germ overlay, you'll see that there is a lot of slime lung around in the slime, and so we really want to keep our duplicants away from that until we can get something like the hand sanitizer to guarantee that they don't bring any germs back from that area. Otherwise, things can get bad pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and copy these settings over here so that all of these are ready to receive new items. Still just a mess hall, but then again, still areas that are under 20. So that is to be expected. We do have a new cycle report, and we've actually not checked this out in a while. So today we didn't generate any calories, but we used 8,000. I think that's fine because all of our mealwood is starting to grow. And also I should not forget that we do need to plant yet more mealwood down here. How are we doing on mealwood seeds? We're doing fine. You do get more seeds as they harvest this mealwood, so eventually over time we will just get a nice backlog of mealwood seeds, which is pretty nice. And then going back to that report there, stress change -15, that's good. Disease status is still low, that's good. Let's have a look further down here. Oxygen generation is looking good. We're producing more oxygen than we're using, and it's actually really nice because it's kind of holding steady. Like, we're producing just about as much oxygen as we're using, which is kind of the perfect place for us to be right now. So that is all good as well. How are we doing on algae? Still got just shy of 5,000 kilograms of algae, so that should be fine. We do have 7.8 tons of coal as well, which is also pretty good. That is going to start to get burned through pretty quickly once we get this generator online, but again, that should hopefully be fine. We've got a ton of coal down here that we can go and dig out if we need it. Again, don't really want to touch the chlorine if at all possible, but we might have to try and figure something out with an airlock. If we really get desperate, what we can do is dig through here. The gas can't transfer through the water, and so For now, we could just kind of dig here maybe and try and get to this, although that would lower the water down and the gas would move, so maybe that wouldn't work. But there are specific setups that you can do with water to make like a gas lock to stop gases from moving, utilizing the fact that the gases can't move through the water. And I think, guys, we might be almost there with this mess hall here, which I'm very excited about. I'm going to bump the priority of this coal generator up one more time so that hopefully somebody will go and turn it on so that everything can get going again. Mima, she's not an narcoleptic, right? Is she just not sleeping right? Oh yeah, of course, we've still not put down the bed for her. The poor woman. Hold on. Furniture, cot. Let's give her a bed. I don't think she's slept in a bed since we got her in here, which is insane. And I'm actually quite surprised that she's not more stressed than she is. I know I would be if I hadn't slept in like 5 days. That's insanity. All right, are we there yet? We're not, but hopefully as soon as they pick up the remaining little pieces here of sandstone, this will become a great hall. And also maybe this meal lice as well, although I'm not quite sure if that... There we go. Still no. We're still not a great hall. It does say recreational building. Do we need like a... maybe we need something like a water cooler in here. Maybe that will work. I'll try putting a water cooler over on the back end there. I'm not too sure what recreational building means, but I feel like the water cooler is a recreational building. And so maybe throwing that in there will convert us finally to great hall status. Still no. So that's clearly not a recreational building that we're after, or at least not the recreational building that we're after. Insufficient resources. So we've definitely got enough coal. That's for sure. Let's set the priority of the coal generator to 7. We want to make sure that at any point in time, coal is being sent to the coal generator, or we have somebody delivering coal to the coal generator. Skill-wise, we have got Frankie and Hassan ready for another upgrade. Hassan is going to go and continue on down the hard digging line. This allows us to dig out abyssalite, which is important because, as we mentioned earlier, we can use abyssalite to insulate heat and also, by extension, insulate coolness. Like if we find a really cool area, or if we have like a plant that's very cold, we can always insulate that as well to stop our base getting too cold as opposed to too hot. And then Frankie over here is going to continue on with grilling, so he gets really good at cooking. Not super useful just yet, but as we go forward and start working on better food sources, having somebody who's good at cooking is going to be quite useful. Oh no, wait, has he already done grilling too? It looks like he has. In that case, I think I will go maybe for hard digging again, just so we can have more than one person who can dig through hard rock, and also because he likes it, it's going to improve morale if we give him hard digging, so that's also a plus. The only thing that I can think of here that is preventing this is potentially the fact that we don't have like one singular item that has plus 20 decor. That's the only thing I can think of here. Maybe we need like one really nice sculpture, or maybe one really nice picture to get this over the edge here. So let's go back down and finish up on... Again, I don't remember selecting HVAC as our research of choice, but I could be misclicking at some point. But we'll select fine art here, and hopefully, yeah, I'm probably misclicking as I like click and drag, but we'll select fine art, and hopefully that will allow us to put down some paintings over here. We do have a pretty creative person in May here, and so hopefully the artwork that we get will be good. Also, that is something I do want to kind of stop anybody else from doing. I don't want anybody else doing creative work. Anybody that is not, I'm going to put an X here. I don't even want them attempting the creative work if you're not me, because otherwise we end up with pictures that are just less good. They don't produce as much of a decor bonus and whatnot. We do have a new dupe ready. Let's go ahead and take a look here. We're probably not going to take a new dupe, but we definitely will take, for example, some pincher pepper seeds. We could take a Drecklet egg if we wanted to, but we've got quite a few of those guys hanging around up here as already. So if we need those, we can always go ahead and just grab them. And also, I assume that they will be dropping their own eggs. Yeah, there's a few up here already that we could always go ahead and grab. The coal is finally online, which is great. 600 watts, which is fantastic. I would like you going until the battery is he hooked up to the same battery? Yeah, he is. He's connected to the same battery. I hope. Yeah. Although I'm not quite sure why he's online. I thought that he would turn off when... duplicates will operate this generator when a battery... okay. So I think right now the duplicant will only put coal into the generator if the battery is below 50%. I think that's what that means. I think there is better things that we can do here. For example, if we go down to the bottom of the research tree here, and I did just again unselect the research I want to do, but down here we got like the smart home research, which allows us to automate certain functions of the base. For example, I'm fairly certain that if we move the battery a bit closer, maybe, we can set it up so that when the battery gets to a certain percentage, we can tell the coal generator to stop working, and not just telling the duplicants not to put stuff into it, we can actually go ahead and have the building be disabled. Because right now, I'm fairly certain that it's burning through coal, even though the power can't go anywhere because of the fact that the battery's full. That's something we could also fix as well. We could put some more batteries down. And I think also a smart generator might be able to help us. Not a smart generator, sorry, a smart battery might be able to help us with that as well. Let me check the wording on the smart battery here. Sends a green signal or a red signal based on the configuration of the logic activation parameters. Yeah, so we really want to get the smart battery here. Once we have that guy down, we can send out green or red signals, basically meaning on and off, depending on how full it is. So that essentially once it gets to either like 70, 80, 90, 100% full, we can say to the generator, you can stop now, this is fine, right? And then have it turn back on again when it falls below like maybe 30 or 40%, so that we always have power being generated. That's the idea at least. So that's something we can work on fairly shortly here. How are we doing on the fine hour? We're at 14 out of 20. We'll speed things up a little bit here. Stinky looks like he's just standing still. Kind of looks like he's broken. He's not doing anything right now, which worries me a little bit. Is he like sleeping on the desk here with his head resting on the supercomputer potentially? I doubt it, but it does look like he's not getting research done. Hello? Awaiting delivery. Can we make that a higher priority, guys? I think he's waiting on maybe like water or something to get this done. That would kind of make sense. May has also not managed to make it to her bed in time for sleep, even though her bed is very much so available to use. Not quite sure why, but maybe she just likes sleeping in the door frame. Who knows? So what else can we get here? I think one of the next things we might look towards getting is the power plant, potentially. Generators built within a power plant can be tuned up using power control stations to improve their power production. So we could set up a power plant and put our coal generator in it, maybe a few coal generators if we wanted to. Research is still not being done, I don't think. Yeah, we're still at 14 out of 20. Can I set this to like priority 9? I would very much so love for Stinky here to be able to do research. Everyone is doing something, so everyone seems to be a little bit busy. But nobody has time to deliver resources. Everyone's doing all of like the sweeping. Oh, there we go. He's moving. Is he going to get the resources? Oh, he's going to eat. It's like eating time. I think that was maybe a bug there. I'm hoping that when he goes back, he can actually start doing research again. I'm not quite sure what in the world that was. But for a brief second, he just wasn't having it. Nice to see someone using the water cooler. That's always nice. Maybe our duplicants will have some nice conversation with each other over the water cooler there. That could be interesting. Are we not getting the... Oh, no, we are getting the latrine bonus, despite the fact that this roof has not been built because it's unreachable. I will dig out this algae here. I think we're doing okay on algae for now. Yeah, we're doing just fine, but we can always use that and store it for use in our diffusers and our terrariums later on down the line. That's all good. Calories seem to be holding fine, which is good. We've still got 16,000 worth of meal lice, which is also great. And our mush bars are slowly decaying and being put into the compost, so that is fine as well. Research is being done again finally, which is good, and is actually now complete, which is fantastic. So let's see. Blank canvas requires metal ore, and it also requires fiber. And so I think fiber requires the loom. Now, the loom requires refined metal, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, refined metal requires the rock crusher here. Inefficiently produces refined material from raw resources. Yeah, let's go ahead and unlock that real quick so we can refine metal in a second here. We can also make a sculpture, which I think I will do. A large sculpturing block is what we've got here. If I put a sculpture... There's no center point to put this, so I might put like one like here and here. Maybe that will work. I don't love it, but it might get the job done. You know what? No, we'll put the sculpture right at the back of the room there, right next to the water cooler. Give him something to talk about. There we go. All right, so hopefully Mima will get onto that pretty soon. I think she might be off to bed actually right now, so maybe she'll get onto that tomorrow. I think it's okay that Hassan is building this. I think it's just Mima who will be the one who sculpts it after the fact. They're not loving the meal lice, I guess. Pleasant chit chat. I like it. Look at that. Finally, May and Mima. They have a bed. They can actually sleep. This is all good. Apparently, I was also wrong about the little hatches here. I said that they eat our coal. Apparently that's not true. They eat anything but coal and poop out coal. So they actually can be quite useful. We could set up something later on down the line where we have like a little farm of them and we feed them, you know, we drop like dirt in there or something. Maybe actually like meal lice. We drop meal lice in and then they poop out coal, which we can then use to power our generators. So some pretty cool setups we can do with that later on down the line. May is our creative worker. I think I misspoke and said Mimar earlier. But May she's working hard. She's getting stuff done. Hopefully this statue is going to be plus 20 and is going to make this into a great haul. It looks like it. Yeah, mediocre sculpture plus 22. And so ideally, look at that. We've done it. We now have a great haul. Not just a regular mess hall. We now finally have a great haul for our duplicants to sit in and get a huge morale bonus from sitting in. That is fantastic. We do also actually research. Again, we need to unlock the better battery. So we'll go for this as well. This guy, I believe, also requires refined metal. And so we are going to have to put down a rock crusher. I'm not quite sure. I guess refinement is where the rock crusher is. And again, for now, there's no great place to put this. I think I might put it here, right next to the microbe musher. I don't love that. And that definitely probably will be moved fairly soon. But for now, we just need it next to a power line of some description. So we'll put it like that. We're probably also going to need some more metal, which our duplicants are grabbing. This is all good. We've got 2 people doing research up here. I guess we don't really want Mimar doing research, if possible. I kind of want, yeah, so yeah, we just haven't changed that yet. So there we go. And there we go. We really only want Stinky doing research. Everybody else can be working on other stuff. So food's looking good. Let's take a quick check-in on oxygen. Oxygen is doing perfectly fine, which is to be expected. We don't really start to run into issues with oxygen until we run out of algae. Once we run out of algae, which is going to take a while. You'll see we've got a lot of algae around here that's going to last us quite a good amount of time. But once we do run out of algae, that's when we have to start looking into like turning water into oxygen or, you know, finding other ways of producing oxygen that we don't have available to us just yet. But that's a problem for future Isaac. For now, we've got tons of algae and we don't have to worry about that whatsoever. Let's go ahead and make like, I don't know, 10 copper, like 10 refined copper. I don't know how much we're going to need, so 10 is just a guess for the time being. But once we actually finish the research for the battery here, we'll get an idea of how much we actually need, at which point we'll put the battery probably down here, right next to the coal generator. We can get rid of the old battery and everything will be grand. It's got a pretty cool animation. And it lets Hassan take some of his stress out here. Look at that. Oh, just whacking that button. Who needs a gym or a punching bag when you've just got a rock crusher like this? Oh my goodness. That's fantastic. I love it. Again, looks like we are going to need a few more storage bins up here because we're getting full, which is crazy. I think we can unlock like a smart storage bin later on down the line, or maybe even just a bigger storage bin at some point as well. That would be very nice indeed. But I'm actually quite glad that they're cleaning things up here. I would love them to sweep up the bathroom. Like having that be a little nicer would be great as well, where possible. Just because I think right now, again, the decor in here, yeah, is quite low. Maybe we can put like a picture here or something. Maybe a sculpture by the front door just to improve the decor of that room. The barracks here, the bedroom, is another place where I would very much like to get a higher decor value. They spend a lot of time in here throughout the night, and so getting the decor nice in there is going to help reduce stress if they ever do get more stress than they are right now, which they almost certainly will at some point in the future. There we go. The battery is unlocked. And so now down in power, let's go to jumbo battery. It requires 200 kilograms of refined metal. How many kilograms is one copper here? This is 50. So we actually only need 4. And so we scheduled 7. So he's going to make a few more here. Once we make the next one, we should actually have all of the refined metal that we need. Yeah, look at that. Nice. So smart battery. We'll throw this guy down right about here at the connection, like at the crossroads between the 2 sets of wires. We will demolish this wire. It's unnecessary. I'm also gonna no, I'll leave the manual generator up for now just in case we do need it at some point in the future. Like we could run out of coal and it'd be nice to have a way of generating power that doesn't solely rely on the production of coal. Temperature wise, you can see we are getting a little hot down here. You know, 30 degrees over there, 29, 30, 31. So not great. As I mentioned before, I do want to kind of stop the heat over here from getting into our base. You can see here the carbon dioxide and whatnot is starting to get a little warmer, and that heat is going to make its way in. We can't do that with abyssalite tile, so we could build like some abyssalite tile around the edges of this area to keep that heat trapped. Same is true for the coal generator as well, as we mentioned before. So this guy now is connected to the power line, but you'll see it has no automation wire connected. Now, I think we might actually have to complete the smart home research before we unlock automation wire. Yes, automation wire is currently not available to us, but if we complete smart home, which shouldn't take too long, it's only simple research, at that point, we can connect this guy up to here, and if we go to the automation tab, which I'm fairly certain is one of these up here, actually I don't see it. Maybe we unlock it, maybe the tab becomes available when we complete the research, but we'll see that the coal generator does have an automation input slot, so we can automate it. And finally, we have the automation tab at the end here, and we've unlocked automation on the right. And there we go. Look at that. There is like a little Ethernet port there on our coal generator. And so if we do something like this, we can go ahead and set this up so that the high threshold is, for example, maybe 80% like this, and the low threshold is maybe 20%. Essentially meaning that if the battery capacity is above 80%, the coal generator will be told to stop, and if the battery capacity falls below 20%, the coal generator will be told to come back online. And that should definitely increase the efficiency of our generator quite a bit. It's going to make sure that our generator just doesn't waste coal when it's not necessary, which is real nice indeed. You can see right now, this guy doesn't have any coal, which is the main problem right now, but even if he did have coal, he wouldn't be online due to the fact that this generator is above 80% capacity. You can see by the little interface on the front there, but I'd love for someone to deliver coal to my generator just so we can see this in action. There we go. Okay, so Mimar has delivered coal. This is good. We can finally see this in action here. So once this guy, he's online, once that gets to 80%, the signal is sent, he stops working, the power keeps on going, keeps on getting depleted by all of the stuff that's working in the base, the diffusers, the sinks, the bathrooms, the pumps, all that good stuff. And then when that falls back down below 80%, or below 20%, sorry, that's quite low down. But when that falls below 20%, the coal generator should come back online. Fantastic. And with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up another episode of Oxygen Not Included. As always, if you did enjoy the video and you want to see more, be sure to hit that like button. It really does help out a lot. Leave a comment down below, subscribe if you're new here to get notified as soon as new videos go out. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.